What is up, guys? JayFerGaming here. Welcome back to my F1 2016 career mode. This is the final season, season 5. This is the German Grand Prix. I have returned from holiday, so thanks for your support while I was off. Hope you did enjoy the videos I prepared for yourselves. And now we're in the final stretch in the second half of this season, so if you haven't subscribed already, I do recommend you do for the rest of this season and F1 2017 content. You can see in the vehicle performance, we are closing up to the back of the pack. We've only got 4 upgrades to go, but I'm going to be waiting out to improve the engine power, and hopefully that jumps us over Haas, so hopefully we'll have that for the Belgian Grand Prix, which would be absolutely perfect. Looking forward to Belgium and Italy in particular. Feel like we've got a great shot of points, but yeah, a couple of DNFs recently. If you haven't seen them, I recommend you do check them out. 2 spectacular crashes, I can say that. So we're into qualify now with Hockenheim in Q1. In the early stages of this session, it was heavy rain. I decided not to go out because I knew the transition was coming, so I go out late in the session, even on the intermediate tyres. And I'm going to be putting in my first lap. A couple of other drivers have done the same. Ricardo's first at the moment. We go a second slower. P3 at this point. That was my only quick lap. I did go for another one, but it wasn't the best. And we ended up in P7, so that worked out very well for us. The AI with some drivers didn't react in time, so there's a few surprises here. Both Ferraris out in Q1. That's huge news. The rest, not so much. Maybe Alonso. McLaren have improved quite a bit recently, and especially this season. Into Q2 is a different story, totally dry, and we're going out on a set of the super soft tyres. Our first run in Q2, trying to see if we can keep up with the guys on the dry tyres, and that initially puts us up to P6, 1.3 off the pace set by Ricardo. Once again, Red Bull's looking very strong here. We did drop down to P16 and last in this session, but half a second up on my final run. I knew this would get us up a few positions at least, possibly into Q3. It is a short lap, so it was a possibility, and it looks like we haven't got through there. Unfortunately, it's P14. We've beaten Gutierrez and Button, and I've got to say a shout out to Grosjean. Haas getting into Q3, I don't think that happens at all, especially in the dry, so that's a great performance from him. And now, getting ready for the race. I'm excited for this one. You can have some decent races around the updated Hockenheim ring. I kind of miss the old version. The very long straights and the engine power. But this should be an exciting one. Dry race all the way through. So strategy and true pace is going to come into it. And look how close the driver standing is between the top 3. Hulkenberg, I think that was Rosberg and Carlos Sainz. And the constructors as well. Red Bull, Force India and Mercedes. It's going to be an exciting battle. Mercedes has pole in front of the Mercedes fans. So over to Crafty for the grid.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Rosberg, Ricciardo, Nico Hulkenberg, and Perez, Kvyat, Grosjean, Wehrlein, and Jolyon Palmer, Magnussen, Sainz, Rio Haryanto, and Sauber, Gutierrez, Button, Sebastian Vettel, and Kimi Räikkönen, Bottas, and Massa, Fernando Alonso, and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid.
So that's the grid for today's Grand Prix. Unfortunately, I didn't record the strategy, so I'm going to have to try and remember what I did. But 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Sainz gets a horrible start there. We don't get the best of start. Bit of wheel spin on the rears, but we should be ahead of Sainz into turn 1. But he actually does brake later than us. Fights back. I'm a bit conservative there. I didn't know what Sainz was going to do. Grosjean has another great run. Sainz is ahead. We're going to try and follow him through. Up the inside of Grosjean. Can we get Sainz under braking as well? Having a look at Haryanto. He leaves far too much room for us. And on traction, we might get him side by side still on the exit. So the Mana Power has pulled him through. Oh, a bit of contact there. We were lucky not to spin out. But we're trying to use our awesome straight line speed in this car to get back past the Mana. Don't think we'll be getting anyone under brake in this pack. Got quite far ahead of us, and we're just following the Renaults through. Magnussen goes a little bit wide there, so I'm not sure if we'll have a shot at him. We get Haryanto on traction from the hairpin. That puts us up to P11. Can we get Magnussen here? He is on the medium, so I thought, oh, late move up the inside. Back end stepping out quite a bit, but we recover the control of the car, and we get ourselves into the points already. So, very successful start. I think we're going to be very good down this back straight with our straight line speed and rich mix and DRS. It's going to be very powerful. Palmer goes to the move on Wehrlein. Wehrlein goes to a bit of an aggressive defensive move there to try and fight back, but he once again goes wide. When the AI goes side by side through the hairpin, the one on the outside just gets pushed out, shoved out to dry. So we've got to run on the mana here. Can we go for the same move we did on the first lap? Yes, we can. More under control this time. Up the inside, and that's just textbook really. Up the inside of Verline. He was on the super softs. But look, we're looking very good at the moment in the early stages. We tend to be this good in the early stages of the race because we're usually outside the top 10. So we have fresh tyres compared to the top 10 who are on scrubbed super soft. So the first few laps we look pretty good, but when tyre wear kicks in, we do drop off in pace a little bit. It's a similar theme in quite a few of these races. But we're on the back of Rosberg here at his home Grand Prix. Up the inside, and we should get him. We're trying to avoid Palmer ahead. Don't want to be crashing into the back of the Renault there. And there we go, up the inside of Rosberg. Classic case of me on fresh tyres, as I said before. And now Palmer, oh, very slow going into the pits there. That was a bit of a shock. Good job I actually drifted a little bit wide there. But 4 laps on them super softs, that seems very early. I think Ricciardo's in as well. I think he was in the top 2. So, yeah, super softs not lasting that long. I think 4 laps is a bit early, but yeah, I'd imagine they're going for the 3-stop. I'll be aiming for the 2-stop here, and we're on the back of Kvyat, and I want to say this is easy, but that might be a bit of an understatement. Look at this. Like, wow, look at the power. Just to blast past Kvyat right there. That was very unexpected. He doesn't actually have a technical issue as well, so yeah, I don't know really what to say about that. But Verstappen's in the pits. You won't be able to see, once again, he is never on the mini-map. I'm guessing that's to do with him replacing me last season. But that puts us into the lead. So with a leader of the drivers on alternate tyres on the softs or the mediums. But Sainz wants to be the best of that category. So he is right on my tail on lap 9. Tyres starting to go off a little bit. I think they'll be able to last maybe 1 or 2 more laps. Oh, bit of a nudge. Classic AI nudge on the straight. Oh, I wish they'd stop doing that. At least it's not Hulkenberg for once. Sainz up the inside. He did qualify outside the top 10. He is usually a contender for pole. He moves across me then. We make contact with his rear again. Doesn't leave much room at all. I suppose compared to the other AI, they would just let Sainz pass. But I'm not going to do that. I want to try and get the best traction I can. So we don't go for the move into the braking zone there. Try and stick as close as we could to Sainz. Sainz did pit at the end of lap 10. And oh, understeer, so close to the gravel. We're pushing quite hard here. Late on the brakes, lock up. Oh, so close to going into the gravel again. And I know it's time to come in. We're pushing very hard, but the tyres just don't have any life left. Into the pits, onto the soft compound once again. Perez takes the lead with Verstappen just behind him. I'm not sure if Perez has pit yet, actually, but we're going on to the softs. And for the final stint, we'll be going on to the mediums, I think. I thought about stretching the soft stints out just so we have better tyres, better performance. Because the mediums, again, I'm not the best with the hard compound. Oh, so close to the inner wall there. We got a bit of oversteer on the exit. Eager to get out, and this is why. Look at the group of cars we have just jumped or kept behind us. So we trying our best to keep Rosberg behind, but such a great group of cars. We don't want to get involved in this battle, otherwise I'm sure we'll lose a lot of time, but they're all going to get DRS on us. We're using all the tools at our disposal to try and keep them behind. There's a manner on the inside, Rosberg on the outside. I'm getting squeezed here by Verline, so I'll break a little bit early, but we're still fighting back. Verline on the inside, understeers into me. Where's Rosberg on the outside? And we've got it done. Oh, that was great defensive driving there. A little bit scary into the braking zone. Verline started to squeeze me. I wasn't sure if he was just going to push me into the Mercedes there. So I did brake early. Didn't leave a lot of room on the inside. Just enough though. On board with Rosberg. And you can see the man who is moving across there. That's the point I knew I had to brake early. Didn't trust him. But Rosberg leaves a lot of room on the outside. Doesn't get great traction here on the curb. And that allows us to defend our 8th position. This is the manner. Gets great speed with the double slipstream. Up the inside, takes a strange entry into the hairpin, and he just can't turn the car. Understeers into me, and he just stops here. I don't know if he had an issue with the car. He just didn't accelerate, but we did keep Rosberg behind for a little bit longer. I don't know why I checked the championship standings here. I think I was just going through the menu and just fancied trying something different, I guess. But this is Rosberg going for the move. Going very defensive there. We're going for the wide entry to get better traction, which means we'll be able to fight back into the braking zone after the fast right-hander here. Can we stay in the slipstream of Rosberg? Yes, we can. Can we go for the move up the inside? AI not going to defend. It's a very late move. He just leaves enough room there. And we slip it up the inside. Nicely done in the end, but yeah, a little bit scary. But yeah, a few other cars ahead of us did pit. Again, it's the strategy is a little bit all over the place. There's a couple of 3-stoppers, but I think most drivers are 2-stopping. Rosberg coming back at me again. This is lap 19. I did keep him behind for quite a few laps. He wasn't quick enough to overtake me with DRS. He'd get close, but not close enough to go for the move. But this time, he has enough. And we're still there, so we're going to try and go for the move back on Rosberg. He goes very defensive here. That's not going to work, son. That is not going to work. He goes onto the grass. Terrible line there. Not great AI logic, I've got to say. And we go for the switchback. I could just see that coming. And we nearly lose the car on traction there. Bit of oversteer, and Rosberg is right on our tail. We're on to lap 23 now, and it's time to come into the pits to go into the mediums. I didn't really want to stretch these too much to go on the super softs. But I can't remember what the mandatory tyre was, because I did record this before I went on holiday. So maybe the mediums were the mandatory tyre, and that's why I had to put them on. But I didn't want to do too many laps on them. So we've got 11 laps stint on these tyres to the end of the race. I think that's the strategy the AI have gone for once again. We nearly hit the inner wall again. Oh, we're cutting it fine there. Ricciardo gets ahead of us, and we got Palmer just behind on the super soft tyres. So you presume he wouldn't be going to the end. So we'll have initial pace, but I'd say he'll probably have to pit again. AI being very smart here. This is Gutierrez with Vettel. Ferrari's having a shocking race. They're near the back of the field. And Vettel might take the Haas out here. This could be a case of the Haas moving over on the Ferrari on the exit here. And yes, it is indeed. Rosberg, I think, did that to me last season. And I ended up putting him in the wall. But it was totally his fault. So, yeah, another great example of AI logic. Lap 28 now. We're in P7. Hülkenberg's coming to the pit for his third and final pit stop onto the super softs, and I knew, yeah, it's going to take a hell of an effort to keep him behind. 7 laps to go. He's on them fresh tyres. He's got a very quick car. And yeah, it didn't take long. It was the next lap. Hülkenberg all over me already. He doesn't even need a DRS. I try and defend, but realistically, there is not a lot I can do here. Hülkenberg gets the move done. Are we going to try and fight back into the braking zone, into the hairpin? We don't have the confidence in the brakes, unfortunately. These tyres, not the best, but yeah, tried to stick with Nico, but it was never going to happen realistically. And we're just on our own for the final few laps. We had good pace. We had a decent strategy. I've got to say, guys, that's a very solid race. Not the most exciting, but very solid, clean race for us. And we're going to come home to take 4 points with this P8. So overall, that's pretty decent. From P14 to P8 in this Sauber. Yeah. Satisfied, I'll say that. But Sergio Perez does win the German Grand Prix from Verstappen and Sainz on the podium. 3-stop, definitely not the way to go. I see I can't even read. Hülkenberg there and Ricciardo dropped down the order. They were near the front of the field, so that didn't work for them. And Felipe Massa, I think that's his first point of the season as well. So finally, the Williams driver has got his first point. Ericsson did finish last, ended up P21. So yeah, okay, nothing spectacular. Ferrari's had a shocker, P14 and P20. Very eventful race for them. Into the driver standings, and just how close is that? Now Ricciardo's involved. Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Sainz. Any of the top 10 could win the maybe not 10, maybe top 9. I didn't include myself in that, because if I put in a decent run, then I think we could battle. But aiming for the top 5 at least. But we're looking okay. We've dropped behind Hamilton. But yeah, overall, satisfied. This season is looking good, and I'll be looking to get the remainder of the second half of the season out for you guys just before F1 2017. So yeah, look in your sub boxes, because there'll be quite a few of these career mode videos. There's Felipe Massa's first point of the season. Only 2 drivers yet to score. In the Constructors, tight again. Red Bull Force India battling hard at the top, and we're pretty lonely in P6, unfortunately. So if you have enjoyed this race, please do leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time out. Goodbye.